The artist's brain is an independent variable. When brought into the everyday world, their senses find meaning in even the most mundane observations. The reaction must only be told by the artists themselves. I'm Loverboy, and this is an experiment. Today's guests have helped lead the way for a genre that is taking off in the festival scene. From playing shows around the world to collaborating with artists that they looked up to as kids, this duo has already made a huge name for themselves and have only just begun. Welcome today's guests, Luke and Duke of Jkyl Hyde. How you guys doing today?
Good to be here. How are you doing?
Yo.
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for coming on this episode. I appreciate it. Today, we're going to be talking a bunch about how the people you surround yourself with and the friends you make impact the art you make and the experience you have. To start off today's episode, I wanted to give you guys a huge congratulations. I saw that you guys just posted you're going to be going on your first headlining tour, which is absolutely incredible. I'm not sure if you'll already be on the road by the time this comes out, but that's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The two of you as a duo have really used each other to bounce ideas off of and to help each other when the other person may be having an off day. So I was curious, how would you guys say having the other person around in the music process as well as in your life has helped your creative process and becoming an artist?
I'll start. I would say that it's been huge and something that you can't even put a value to. Just kind of like you explained in the simplest ways, when one of us is having an off day, the fact that the other one can pick up the slack makes it that much easier, that much smoother, and that much more of just a joint venture, it feels like, between both parties. And I know beyond that, we've gotten to travel together and we've lived together ever since the project has started, even a little bit before. We've definitely just learned so much about one another as people and learned how that can intertwine within our creative process for each of us personally. And I feel like it's a constant thing that's growing, but every day since we've started this project, we've been striving to get better at helping each other and pushing the creative vision forward.
Yeah, I definitely feel like just us being able to go through certain situations where we'd probably be like uncomfortable with like a different person just makes it that much easier in those situations that like everybody's going to go through.
What are some things you guys would say that are maybe some of the more difficult part or something that you have to be ready for in order to be doing something like you guys are doing?
I would say you have to be ready and aware that it's very, very hard / near impossible to be 50-50 all the time in everything you do. There's so many aspects that Duke does better than I and vice versa. And I think really leveraging those things and realizing what each other's strengths and weaknesses are and then playing off of that is something you absolutely have to be prepared for, and something that I think is almost builds more chemistry at times than if it was just two people doing exactly 50-50 on every single thing. And I would say it's almost unrealistic to say any partnership in life, whether it be a business relationship, artistic, they're all going to require you playing to your partner's strengths and weaknesses and both of you realizing that and learning to grow from that rather than holding yourself back or being upset when things might not be that exact way.
I mean, I would just say the only like downside is that like we were definitely like friends first. So it's like almost kind of like there's like this Joe Rogan clip where he was talking about like he doesn't want to do like business with his friends and all that stuff. And I think there's like a very like real point to that. But I also feel like we've been able to like kind of have the type of relationship where the like low points or not even like argumentative points, but points where we like disagree or we both agree, but we disagree with someone else have like also been the points that have carried us to the high points of like being able to go do a special show or like a festival or something, you know, like an accomplishment per se. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say like the weaknesses almost benefit you too. So
I would say another thing kind of to actually answer that question about something that people should be curious of if they want to be in a duo is just to expect a lot of unexpected, because on paper, when me and Duke started this back in 2017, it was as simple as we're going to make music together. And that's pretty easy. We were in the same area. We were doing the same thing, interested in the same stuff. And obviously our goal is to progress where we are now, but nowhere along those lines were we thinking of all the small in between. Like, you guys are going to have to be waking each other up in hotel rooms in foreign countries, and you guys are going to have to be staying on each other for travel plans, and you guys are going to have to be taking care of each other in that sense. And I would say it's so much more to be successful. It's going to be a lot more than just sitting down and making the songs together.
Yeah. So a little backstory. Obviously, I know I've got the experience to live with you guys and to go to school with you guys, but you guys are both from Colorado, and you moved out to Los Angeles about 5 years ago to go to a school called Icon Collective, which is a music production school. And there, you guys, myself, and our old roommate Akash as well, got the opportunity to be in an area with hundreds of people that wanted the same thing as us. And not only did that show us that there's a lot of other people to work with, but it also showed that there's a lot of other people working hard. How would you guys say the opportunity of going to that school helped push you guys as artists, and also just to meet some new people?
I would say it definitely like just elevated our mindset as just with like anybody else like around you if they stayed in school there, it seemed like. Because even from like the interviewing process, I remember like the person who interviewed me, I remember like listening to their music and then like talking to them through the interview, which didn't even really feel like an interview. And I was like, damn, like I'm not even like into this style of music, but I believe in what this guy is saying and like his whole overall brand, which is essentially what you would call it now. But at the time, I didn't even know that, more than like anyone I've met in like my hometown. And not to like dog on those type of people, but it was just more or less like you're going to just be like immersed in this sense of like wanting to like do the same thing, which is not like a common thing, I feel like, nowadays. So, and just
Absolutely.
being able to like change their curriculum. I'm sure like the Icon now is not the Icon that we attended. So, I mean, it's like a different location, and they probably have like some stuff like more tailored to like what's going on right now.
The
So
times, yeah. I would say too, one thing it opened me up to going there that I was not necessarily expecting was also kind of an introduction to what I don't want to be in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing and I would say that something to be very just open-minded about is the fact that, and this goes for life, not just Icon or school, but there's just as many people who don't give a shit as there are that really give a shit. And I think it was actually pretty positive and eye-opening for me to see some of the kids who maybe didn't make it through the whole course, or the kids who, not even in a negative way, but just discovered through that that's not what they wanted to do in their life. And whether it be that they do something related to music or not, or however it goes, I think that was a very reassuring thing to almost see, because for me personally, it did give me more reason to realize that this is what I shouldn't be doing maybe, or if I'm wanting to pursue music, these are the things that I shouldn't do. I shouldn't act like this. I shouldn't party like this. I shouldn't waste my time in this sense, or blah, 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 whatever the distraction may be. I think it really kind of helped me realize in my head, there's people who make it and people who don't. And there's a lot of reasons behind those things. It's not just black and white.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes putting yourself in the room with people that are better than you or people that are more experienced than you isn't only to learn, but it's also to see really what it takes, and to see people who are willing to put 100% of their effort and then some into something that you don't know for sure if it's going to work out, but you got to know in your head the whole time that I'm not stopping until it does. That's really cool. Who are some artists that you guys would say that you looked up to growing up, and as you were coming up in the scene, that you've now had the opportunity to play with, or to play on the same stage, or to collaborate with?
In a nutshell, I would say first definitely Funkcase and Monks, because they're two we have collaborated with, and both those names go pretty much as far back as we can when it comes to us listening to that type of music. Obviously, Monks is a little newer, but we kind of had both a connection with him when we were in high school before even starting music. Really, we were both just DJing and wanted logos for our DJ monikers, so we paid Monks, Josh, to do our logos, and have kind of came full circle with him to where we've worked on tunes, toured, and our management is the same. So we've really built that connection there into more of a friendship, honestly, than anything. And that's been pretty mind-blowing to see how that happened. Same kind of with Funkcase, where I can remember going to Funkcase shows as a fan before I ever imagined myself producing music and doing it to the extent that I do now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say beyond that, it still hits us every now and again where someone plays out some of our music and it is just like, wow, that's crazy. Like Adventure Club, Excision, some of these people who we've listened to for 10 years now and basically introduced us into this type of music. It's definitely something else when you see them playing your song out live.
Would also say there's a lot of artists that we randomly like run into, or like we'll be DJing on some like random way. Like we were doing this like Monks live stream, and 12th Planet came, and he just like knew who we were and came like right up to us. And I feel like that's always just kind of been a common thing with him now, even though we don't like see him often or even like talk to him that much, you know what I mean? Because he's like a busy guy. But like when we do just randomly run into each other, instances like that, I think kind of like make you like think a little bit more, because it's like right in front of you and it's not like something that you're even, and it's not like to say that just because like we're friends with some of these artists that we collaborate with and spend a lot of time with, that it's like downplayed, but it's just like, so it's almost like the first time that you met them, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely. Well, and none of this comes without hard work. And you can know everybody in the world, but at the end of the day, knowing those people only helps if you have the music to back yourself up, and if you have the drive to show that this is something that you're not stopping. You want this more than everybody else in the room. And it's super cool to see how you guys have played off each other and played off the people that you've brought into your life. And getting to watch over the past 5 years, it's really been incredible seeing you guys go from two kids who just left high school to playing around the world and waking up in China and playing shows and having people know who you are in all these places. It's really, really, it's been really, really cool to see.
Thank you.
Just to wrap this up, I wanted to ask you guys one last thing. If there's anything you could tell us about your upcoming tour, what you guys know about it, what you're allowed to tell, and anything else that you guys have coming up.
Yeah.
it's going to be bigger than people I think will maybe expect. So, you know, it'll definitely like cover a good amount of like cities.
Your standard cities, your LA, your Denver, your Minneapolis, your Orlando's, your cities in Texas. We're getting around. We have a very exciting big festival announcement that is coming up. Won't give it away. All we'll say is it's our second time there. Yeah, and then aside from that, I would say we're just excited with the tour regardless, because this is the first time, like you said, that we're headlining. Although some of the stops are support shows, for the most part, we are headlining a lot of these shows. We're excited to see the people there for us, to pack out some of these rooms and to just be back playing shows again. It's been a way too long of a time coming, I would say. And we have way too much new music to play out. Lots of collabs, lots of stuff with new artists, and it's going to be a really good time. That's all I can say.
Well, I absolutely can't wait to be there and watch you guys do what you do best. I can't wait to see what the next year and 2 years bring for you guys. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. And to everybody listening,
we're Jkyl and Hyde, and this is an experiment.
The experience is the experiment.